Hola amigos, we have a short video, un video corto, um, just to discuss the situations common in many sentences in Spanish in which you have two verbs. And we will see there's not a lot of complication in this lesson. The rule is the first verb is conjugated, put into one of the 5 forms that you learn for each verb, and then the second one is not. It is in the infinitive, the basic form of the verb that ends in R, and that will be the case for all of these. Here we have 2 examples of that. One with the verb gustar, which we've studied. You can say that you like a noun, like a cookie, or you like books, or you can say you like to do something, you like an activity, in which case you will have a verb 2. So the formula here is verb 1, gustar, conjugated. Here it's me gusta, and bailar is not conjugated and ends in R. So me gusta bailar. I like to dance, verb 2. And then we have querer in verb 2. Querer is I want, so yo quiero viajar a Guatemala. I want to travel to Guatemala, and we're going to now give you a list, not a very long list, of verbs and their meanings in this 2 verb structure, complete with examples in real sentences. In verb 2, something that someone likes to do. Querer in verb 2, someone wants to do something. Poder in verb 2, someone is able to do that, or we say they can do whatever verb 2 is. Encantar plus verb 2, we've seen someone loves to do something. Soler, something that someone usually does. So they usually, whatever verb 2 is, will say they usually do that thing. Necesitar is to need to do something. Intentar, to try. Esperar, to hope, to do something, to hope. Esperar plus verb 2. And now we'll give you examples of these in sentences. Yo le gusta cantar y bailar. Here we have 2 verbs, cantar y bailar, but both of them are playing the role of verb 2, so both of them are left in the basic infinitive form, ending in R. Ellos quieren beber mucha agua. Ellos quieren beber mucha agua. Usted puede venir a mi casa hoy. Usted puede venir a mi casa hoy. Nos encanta mirar la tele en nuestro dormitorio. Nos encanta mirar la tele en nuestro dormitorio. Tú sueles hacer el trabajo muy bien. Tú sueles hacer el trabajo muy bien. Tu amiga necesita dormir más. Tu amiga necesita dormir más. Ella siempre intenta cocinar bien. Ella siempre intenta cocinar bien. Yo espero ver esa película pronto. Yo espero ver esa película pronto. two forms of two verbs that we've already looked at, which are very commonly used, and they mean the same thing. Gustaría is a form of gustar, and it goes with verb to, which is not conjugated, as we've discussed. Quisiera is a weird form of querer, to want. But here with quisiera, it's more I would like. So both of these are something that you would say in your restaurant or ordering something in a store. Me gustaría something, or quisiera do something. Me gustaría comer en la sala. ¿No te gustaría ir con tu novia al baile? Me gustaría comer en la sala. ¿No te gustaría ir con tu novia al baile? Yo quisiera 3 helados, por favor. Yo quisiera 3 helados, por favor. Mi amiga quisiera tocar la guitarra ahora. Mi amiga quisiera tocar la guitarra ahora. The formula, as I've said, is verb 1 conjugated, verb 2 with nothing between the verbs. There are, however, a few other cases in which we follow this formula, but we have to add an element. We have to insert something that comes between the verbs. And the examples I'm going to give you again are commonly used in day-to-day circumstances. Number 1 is to insert the word de between the verbs. Deber plus de plus verb 2. You should do whatever verb 2 is. Parar plus de plus verb 2. To stop doing that. Terminar plus de and verb 2. Again, to stop doing something. Dejar plus de plus verb 2. To quit or to stop doing that. Tratar de is to try to do that. So we saw intentar and verb 2, but here's another way to say tratar plus de plus verb 2. Again, above we saw a few ways to say to stop doing something. Acabar plus de plus verb 2 expresses the idea of something that you have just done. So you've just finished doing something in a moment before speaking. Ella debe de hacer su tarea. Ella debe de hacer su tarea. Tu padre para de trabajar temprano hoy. Tu padre para de trabajar temprano hoy. Yo termino de cocinar a las 4 de la tarde. Yo termino de cocinar a las 4 de la tarde. Dejamos de fumar hace 4 meses. Dejamos de fumar hace 4 meses. Hace in this case means ago. So this is 4 months ago. Dejamos de fumar hace 4 meses. Nosotros tratamos de nadar en la piscina. Nosotros tratamos de nadar en la piscina. La profesora acaba de hablar con sus estudiantes. La profesora acaba de hablar con sus estudiantes. Acordarse de plus verb to. Cansarse de plus verb to. Quejarse de plus verb to. And olvidarse de plus verb to. All of these follow the same formula that we had. The only difference is we're adding the new thing that we learned last lesson, which was the reflexives. The ones that end with se, and then you have to change that when you conjugate the verb either to me, te, se, or nos. And then you put verb to in, then you put de, and then you put verb to in the infinitive. Ella se acuerda de escuchar esa canción. So acordar changes the O to a UE when you conjugate it. Ella se acuerda de escuchar esa canción. Ella se acuerda de escuchar esa canción. Ellos se cansan de limpiar la casa. Ellos se cansan de limpiar la casa. Yo siempre, always, siempre, me quejo de lavar el carro. Yo siempre me quejo de lavar el carro. Tu amigo frecuentemente se olvida de cerrar la puerta. Tu amigo frecuentemente se olvida de cerrar la puerta. And one more time. Tu amigo frecuentemente se olvida de cerrar la puerta. We see se before the conjugated verb olvida, from olvidar, from olvidarse, adding de, and then adding the second verb with an R. So we saw really these numbers are off by one if we count the first option, which is to put two verbs together with nothing in between. Then we had the first option, inserting de in between. Here is our third option, in which we add que in between, and there's only one of these, but it is frequently used. This one expresses obligation, something that you have to do. And we had learned this toward the end, or at the very end, I guess, of the first level of Spanish that I taught you. Tener plus que plus verb to is something that someone has to do. So we conjugate the verb tener. Tener is tengo, yo tengo, tú tienes, él tiene, ella tiene, nosotros tenemos, and ellos tienen, ustedes tienen. Three examples using this common and useful expression, tener plus que plus the verb to. Ella tiene que ir al banco. Ella tiene que ir al banco. Ellos tienen que llamar a la escuela. Notice the tener changes depending on the subject. Ellos tienen que llamar a la escuela. Yo tengo que estudiar mucho el español todos los días. Yo tengo que estudiar mucho el español todos los días. And our last option is to add the word a between verb 1 and verb 2. A. Ir plus a plus verb 2. Empezar plus verb 2 with a in the middle. Comenzar plus a plus verb 2. And volver plus a plus verb 2. Las chicas van a bailar hoy en el club nuevo. Las chicas van a bailar hoy en el club nuevo. Las chicas van a bailar hoy en el club nuevo. Ellos empiezan a hablar ahora. Ellos empiezan a hablar ahora. Yo nunca comienzo a trabajar antes de las 7. Yo nunca comienzo a trabajar antes de las 7. Tu abuela vuelve a caminar con problemas. Tu abuela vuelve a caminar con problemas. So that is the end of this lesson. I've given you lists of two verb structures, possible vocabulary items, and then you put them into sentences conjugating the first verb and not the second. You need to remember that rule. That's a good rule because it does not have any exceptions for most circumstances. So what you need to do now is, as we go through, as we continue to look at other things, remember this, because these things will be interspersed. These two verb structures will be interspersed in whatever new content we learn.